Commissioner Weiss, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everyone. First thing on the agenda is to approve it. Moved by Commissioner Gage, second by Commissioner Weiss. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. This time we have the opportunity for public comment for anything that's not on the agenda. Is there anybody here to speak publicly on the phone? Not hearing anything. We'll move on to the next agenda. We have Rachel Kipley, Fairgrounds Park Manager, bids on the Expo building.
Morning, you guys.
Morning.
So notice is hereby given and that sealed bids will be received at the Chambers of Brown County Commission, 8:45 on December 12, 23 at that time, said time and place. All bids will be publicly open, read, and considered for the Brown County Commissioners. Project is replacing or retrofitting a metal roof on the whole Expo building at the Brown County Fairgrounds. And I want to recognize Dean Marcy. He's been crazy helpful in this, as I am not a roof expert, so he's been great. But we got one bid. So how we kind of set this up is there's two options for the overall project and then a couple of addendums to that. One second here. The first option was removal and total replacement of the roof, and the sole bid is $658,500. And they did not bid the second option. That would have been the retrofit over the top of it. So nothing there. Alternate one, which provides for the contractor to furnish and install 60 mil building flashing between the Expo building and the Odie Ice Arena. That was what was brought up when we first were bidding this, the concern of that area. That project or that alternate would be $4,125. And the second one, if they had provided for contractor to furnish and install roofing, alternate building flashing between the Holem and the Odie Ice Arena, so a second option to do that, $5,980. And then the alternate three was to provide for contractor to patch and repair the existing ceiling in the Expo building if they were to do the option of the retrofit, and that was $1,600, but that was not something they did, so. So it's significantly higher than where we thought we would be in May when we kind of got some price estimates, but we knew that was going to happen, so I would move to defer it and for a weekend, I guess, look at your budgets, because it's a little over double what we thought it was going to be.
Who's the bid from? What we got?
Mega Construction and Products from Campbell County Country, correct?
Okay.
I'll move it.
Sorry.
Moved by Denner to defer and second by Weiss to defer the bid on the roof on the home expo. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Remind us what kind of time frame you had on the specs for that
We had that it be done by August 1st.
for next year.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I guess the folks are here if you guys have other questions. Was the timing a concern at all? If we were to accept the bid, would we be able to get it done by August 1st? Tim?
Yeah, that was the plan from what was said on there, yeah.
And then as far as like the demo piece of it, starting May to August, would that be sufficient
Yeah,
time?
as soon as we can, yeah, so May, I wouldn't wanna start any later, you know, just in case if there's any weather issues or whatever, you know, expected up there.
So with enough notice, it's not an unreasonable time frame.
Say again?
With enough notice, it's not an unreasonable time frame
Right,
to
yeah,
get it accomplished.
yeah.
Okay.
And we do have quite a few events March and April, but that's kind of why we said May 1st, because I've already talked to Patricia. She does a pickleball tournament. There's some other minor things in there in those 3 months that normally we rent the facility out for, but if you guys found it were gracious enough to find the money to get this thing done, I don't think it's going to get any cheaper. And I know it has to be done, or we're going to have to look at a new building within the next 5 to 10 years. We could probably keep patching it for a while, but I mean, structurally it's sound, so something we'll have to think about for the next few days. Dean?
Can I just add something, because Rachel and I went round, and it's really this first or second option, the second option, to go over the top, which is called SSR, where you go over the top. But it really has to be it was done by a chief building before, and nobody does, none of our suppliers have that, and to take the responsibility, engineering alone was $5,000 to $10,000. I mean, our structural engineer really didn't want to come in, because now you're committing to a building that you didn't do. That's why we didn't get the other option, because it's just cost prohibitive. And we even did the alternate at the end to say, okay, we contract that separate, which my structural engineer said, well, I mean, we'll have to come down, we'll have to do a study, and it would have been costly. It would have been a probably $20,000 ad. We were hoping it would, I don't know, if we talked a little bit with these guys, and there's just a lot of unknowns to take responsibility for that building, to put a roof over the top. You understand, we're gonna put a roof over the top of the existing roof, and then patch the interior. We were trying to get an apples for apples, that's why we took the engineering out of it. And like I said, I was advising Rachel, because this isn't something we
Sure.
need to, as an architect, get in and do all this bid documents. We basically bid this thing, and I think, Rich, you kind of had an idea what was going on. Everybody knew what we were trying to do, and to go
Not
into...
like putting a layer of asphalt shingles over another layer of
Right.
asphalt shingles, it's
Right.
a whole different.
And you can't put a rubber roof over the top of it, like a lot of people have done on some of them, but, it's just, this was the best option, really, so. But costs are, they just gone up, so.
So this would be stripping the entire roof system off, so you'd wind up as far as the beams and everything, all of that would be gone and refitted.
Yeah, and kind of going off what he said, same thing, as a contractor, I don't think it's cost effective, one, and number two, like you said, with today's engineering and how they build stuff cheaper, I don't know if I'm guessing this is 80s, 70s,
Yeah.
steel or whatever, I just think it's a bad idea, and, they can say like, oh, this is on the engineering, but somehow I'm gonna be put in the mix that I can't take that responsibility. And then number two, to get the best, if you're going through all this work, all this money, I think a person needs to insulate it, right? And that's that 8-inch with 3-inch over it, and Simple Saver. I think that's the way to do it if you're gonna spend that amount of money, because as I can see from when we brought the Aberdeen Home Builders home show in there, now they're heating it and everything, and today heat costs a lot more money than it did 20 years ago. I think it'd just be the best idea to start from scratch, rip everything off, do it right, and kind of go from there. And it's just, you try to retrofit it, it's just a lot of tangibles that you're, mixing. Your name's in it, my name's in it, the engineer, and I just don't see it being a good way of doing it, and even the person that was giving us the steel estimate, was kind of cringing a little bit. You sure you want to do this or whatever,
What do you attach it to when you get into it?
And then on the materials end of it, when we were talking, it's all the same materials that we'd be putting on, plus the purlins that have to go on top of that, so not only the cost rise in materials alone, if we would have gone with that over the top, and I don't, labor-wise, still would have been more.
Sure.
It's a Simple Saver roof, so it's a better roof. We were putting the 8 inches and then 3 inches over the purlins, which isn't the way it is done now.
Yep.
It's just in between the purlins, so this is a standard now of the roof. So it will be a better heating, it's 11 inches of insulation, so, and it's 3 inches above the main structure with the purlin going across.
Not only trying to keep it warm in the winter, but also cooler in the summer.
Yes, it's a better roof, plus a Simple Saver, we won't be able to put a puck through it.
Right.
So you won't have the holes there and stuff. And then like Rachel said, the end wall is that kind of that, and here again, Rich and I talked, we put in the standard, which we do, and it's not necessarily the 60 mil, so we want to get that seal on that end. And the option was for the steel building people to come in and say they might have a better system. We do it one way because that's how we know how to do it. That's why there's a little bit less in this doing it their way, which is.
Sure.
So that gives you the benefits, it gives you 1,000 or whatever savings, but it's just a better, what they want to do, so that's. good. So that's kind of the history of that.
Okay, so this is for the whole, this doesn't include the west lean-to, or it
It
does?
does.
Does?
Yeah, it's
Okay,
the whole
so
thing,
is
about
that-
210 by 240.
Okay, so it's that whole system.
Everything.
It's a big roof.
Yeah, and then the flashing the seam, which is a real problem, is not that big of an expense, but it just needs to be addressed properly.
Bigger picture, yeah.
Okay, that answers my questions, because I was wondering about the materials and insulation too, so you answered that, thank you.
So what's the rough guess on how long this would last?
How long the operation would take?
No, how long would the brand new roof last the
Oh.
county? I mean, warranty, how many? I know that depends on weather, but.
2.5 years.
Yeah.
So the first hole is putting in?
Yeah, there you go.
I think the specs ask for a 20-year warranty.
Okay.
Sitting in.
20-year warranty.
You're hoping for.
I would say up to.
You know, so there's gonna be different warranties on the substrate and finish and whatnot. I'll find those
Okay.
and have them shoot them to us.
Okay. No, I'm just curious roughly.
Yeah.
But 20-year warranty, that helps, but obviously you're hoping for, well, probably in that.
years, but
Just eight.
just a 20-year
So
one.
food for thought.
Yeah, that's what we're.
Exactly. 40 years ago, when this was built, we had 11 bids on it, and the whole thing got built for about $370,000, 40 years ago.
When was it built again?
I believe it was
83.
81, it was in the early 80s,
Yeah.
but 40 years,
Mm-hmm.
because then they had to rebid it.
You did inflation.
Okay, we'll defer it and take it up next week.
Thanks for entertaining our questions and being here.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rachel.
Thank you.
See you, Dean.
Next on the agenda, we have Dave Lunsford, Sheriff, and John Linsky, Chief Deputy Sheriff, open bids for body camera and in-car camera systems.
Gentlemen.
Morning. Morning. Morning.
Morning. Happy birthday, Daylight. I was out of town.
Thank you. You let him open.
Put him to work.
He's the one that did all the research, so you see how that works.
Are you gonna read the whole request? Okay.
The Brown County Sheriff's Office requesting proposals for new body camera and in-car camera systems for the sheriff deputies. The goal is to equip the certified law enforcement officers of Brown County Sheriff's Office with body-worn cameras to assist in their daily enforcement activities, as well as in-car cameras for those who issue a patrol car. Requested services include providing the camera system as well as administration features such as 12 car cameras capable of uploading video remotely, 18 body-worn cameras that will sync with the in-car camera system, mounting hardware for both camera systems, secure software for managing videos, a secure system for dissemination of videos to stakeholders. The BCSO has determined that due to variations across platforms for this specific type of equipment, in order to meet the needs of local law enforcement, a competitive sealed bids process is not practical, nor is it advantageous. Sealed proposals are due prior to 8:45 a.m. on December 12th, 2023, to the Brown County Auditor's Office, 25 Market Street, Aberdeen, South Dakota. The BCSO will review proposals from all candidates. These proposals will be evaluated based on cost, features, and convenience. Brown County reserves the right to reject all proposals at any time during the process. All proposals will be treated as closed records until a contract awarded. This RFP is not a contract and does not in any way bind the county to any obligations. The county is not responsible for costs incurred by anyone responding to the request for proposal. Upon submission, all proposals become the property of the county, which retains the right to use any concept or idea presented in any proposal submitted, whether or not the proposal is accepted. The county expressly reserves the right to amend or withdraw this RFP at any time.
You got it back.
More work to do. Could use a couple more of them for a roof project.
Yeah, more than the last one.
Apparently the body cams are more popular than roofs.
Solutions. For a 5-year subscription, the grand total is, for Motorola Solutions, is $174,488. Roughly $21,000 the first year, and then $38,300 years 2 through 5.
Includes hardware support, all that.
Correct.
Well, we hope, we haven't seen all what they put in there, but.
That's the intent.
What happens at the end of the 5 years then?
Start over.
And then just probably start over and new contracts and
Unfortunately.
Same thing happens all over again.
Here will be our.
Digital Ally.
Not sure where they put the price. They dug that one in there, that might not be good.
It's broken down.
Well, this is it per year, isn't it?
The option is, and there's,
Gotta hide it there somewhere.
Boy, they had a lot of stuff
then
in
you
here.
have that one per year. All right, grand total for 5 years for Digital Ally is $218,168. Looks like first year price of $51,704, then years 2 through 5 is $41,616.
218,168, is that right?
Yep.
Some lens lock. Lens lock for a 5-year plan is $152,745, which is a $32,065 year 1 payment, $30,170 for years 2 through 5. Next proposal is from Axon. Great in there.
Looks like they need a bigger font. I can't read them with my glasses on. Or it had something to do with the birthday.
Welcome to the snow.
Could have had something to do with that.
Like the total cost for Axon for 60 months is $105,177.60. 5 years.
Thank you.
Versaterm Visual Labs. The total first-year cost for Versaterm is $35,760. Says your total recurring charges is $24,480.
to buy my $12 corn dog, you know?
Is there a limit on that one for how many years, or just recurring for?
That one, I didn't see any.
I'm sure we're gonna have to dig deep into these
Sure.
to see what all they provide.
I suspect they'll be deferred until you guys have a chance to
Utility Incorporated. Nice, they got a tab that says cost. Look right to it. For utility, the first year payment is going to be $68,000, with years 2 through 5 of $25,500 for a full system 5-year contract of $170,000.
Thank you. And then, of course, we're gonna have to pour over them for a week and come back with a recommendation.
Is there any of them that you're familiar with in here that's common in this area?
Axon is one, what was that one?
The lens lock is
Lens lock.
used by a few agencies in the state, and Motorola is used by a few.
Yep.
I think the South Iowa Patrol GIS is going to lens lock. I know there's some down Brookings area that are using it as well.
I'd entertain a motion to defer.
Second.
Motion by Lee, second by Gage, to defer the bids for the cameras for the sheriff's department. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, appreciate
Thank you.
it.
I'd appreciate it if you get us some information back too from our IT department to make sure that they get any questions or concerns about compatibility, both for storage capacity and functionality and the rest of that.
Yeah, we had some problems last time, so we got that. They're already on board, so we'll get them this stuff too, make
Okay.
sure they can look at it. Appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on our agenda, Dirk Rogers, Highway Superintendent, right away for Northern Electric, and a department update.
How'd you guys do?
You're late again.
I've been here for hours.
You're still late.
Janitor let me in.
That's why we don't give you a key.
I know. I don't have a key to the highway shop anymore, I don't think.
Sleep it.
Morning. Morning.
Or is it afternoon?
Could be.
The, first thing on the agenda there, basically the only thing is, right-of-way item C for Northern Electric. It's on, Road 16 there, a couple miles north of Bath. They're just gonna bore under the road, to take the electric to the other side. I don't see any issues with it. You guys are okay?
Second.
You got the original, don't ya?
Moved by Lee, second by Denner, to approve the right-of-way for Northern Electric. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
What
Motion
are you
carries.
laughing about?
Looked like you were getting ready to run.
I was. I'm not used, when cops get this close to me, I get nervous, all right?
He's just administration.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Got his civvies on. Yeah, I'm worried about Lemke, that's the problem. No, other than that, we're kind of enjoying, getting into some things that we don't always get to take advantage of because of the time of year. So we hauled some rock and we're kinda got that to a holding pattern for riprap. And then, doing a lot of graveling in the southwest part of the county right now. And actually might be able to, we're gonna go look at it this afternoon, we might actually be able to get some material in place that we normally wouldn't have done till load limits came off next year. So, you usually have to go back and true it up a little bit, but if we can get it out there right now, then that saves some trucking. And like on Road 21 down there across the Jim River where we'll be paving next year, we gotta haul a little material down in there. So if we can get that done this fall, that'd be cool. Hopefully gonna be crushing pretty quick here by Christmas. They gotta get the crusher down here before North Dakota puts their load limits on, or it doesn't get down here. So, hopefully that'll get down here before the end of the year. We probably won't officially start renting it till after the first of the year, but we'll start crushing. Have pretty good jag of concrete this year, so should be good. Then we're cleaning out the backyard. We have an accumulation of couple, 3 years of leftover culverts and iron and crap and rocks and black dirt mixed with goo and all that kind of stuff. So we're working on taking some of that out to the fairgrounds, hitting a few low spots out there, and I don't know, other than that, just kind of getting the road or the yard cleaned up and keeping everything ready for the snow that I hope never comes. So
Yeah, actually, you could be out mowing at this time of year.
We could be. See, we didn't even have to rush there at the end to get it done. We could still be going. You get-
During all that snow,
Yeah.
do more snow blowing than mowing. And
Yes.
Yeah, good.
It's funny, you can actually buy mowers. That'll be the next thing with the snow money. You can buy mowers with the snow money because it's a, mowing out is a snow fighting deal, so that one does qualify, but we'll worry about that another day.
Mother Nature will do what it'll do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and fortunately, we've had years where we get a little skiff, like what we just got the other day, and then the temp goes down to like 8 below for the next 3 weeks, and we have to deal with that, so it's always encouraging when you get her back up above 20 degrees or something, so.
We're getting 40 pretty consistent.
I know,
for a week, so.
should be good, should be good. I'm dreaming of a brown Christmas.
The temperature's above average, not above
Above
normal.
that- that's right,
Not
above-
above normal.
that's right.
There's no such thing as normal.
You guys good?
I had a call here a while ago, a guy complaining about truck speed out there by Rolling Meadows on 13. We talked about it for a while and kind of came to the conclusion the best thing might be, would you guys have a speed limit, flashing speed limit sign that you could put out there? Just maybe to, he wanted a roundabout, and I said, well, that's probably gonna be a
Hey,
little more
man.
expensive than what you're gonna want.
I'm telling you,
It's a list
the
of a
minute,
flashing
the
speed
minute you
limit.
want a roundabout, just tell me, 'cause I'm in, I want a roundabout too, but.
Those things, aren't they extremely expensive though, roundabouts?
It depends, and it kinda depends on the intersection, if you have if it's a reasonable trade for the amount of traffic.
Sure. Yeah, he had asked for that. I said, well, we talked to him for a while, so let's do a flashing speed limit.
When we get a snowstorm,
Be
you
a
just
good
pile up
start.
the snow in the middle of the intersection,
Sure.
and you can just test it out.
Hey, a lot of cities do it that way, too.
That's right.
But, no,
Cities, small.
yeah, small cities.
That or a traffic counter too, leave that up to you.
Yeah.
To get the speed, he said there's trucks going by at ridiculous speed, which I don't doubt there's some going by way too fast.
Yeah, I would imagine the outliers on that are extremely
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would imagine your top speed is.
Yeah,
because
your 80th percentile.
It's not like what we talked about the other day, it's just a good road that you can.
Yeah, you turn the corner and punch it, and you don't stop for 4 miles, so.
Yeah.
And then you hit the Jake brake really hard when you get over to Prairie-Wood. Perfect.
Everybody's happy.
So,
Did you hear about a east side and the west side
Yeah.
line?
But, we'll put one out there.
Okay. No,
Oh,
that'd be great.
speaking of traffic counters, so we had an interesting thing, and I'm only telling this story because I just can't believe it happened, but, so we got the traffic counter set up out on, we're actually doing a traffic count for the township on 8th Avenue across the bypass, or I'm pouring the wrong way, across the bypass. And, so Flory goes out there after 7 days, can't find the traffic counter because the pole it was on was gone. And, Northwestern replaced their poles, just happened to be, and they just plucked her out and threw it with the rest of them, so he ran over there and talked to them, and they said, yeah, maybe it's out in the bone pile, except Leans had already hauled away their scrap wood out to the Brown County landfill to be ground. And, so as John's chasing around, a day late and $1 short, he got out there in time to find out that it went through our traffic counter went through the shredder out there, so. I called LTAP and said, I got one for you. I guess you're supposed to hang them on poles that only your organization has control over, apparently, because we put it on overhead power pole and it ended up in the shredder, so.
Well, those don't come out very often.
No. And everybody's like, well, geez, I couldn't believe they didn't stop or see, and I go, okay, if I told you guys to go out and rip out a bunch of signposts and you got out there and somebody had some weird looking trail cam or something strapped to it, what would you do with it? Well, we'd probably pick it up and throw it in the truck. So, we'll turn it into the insurance. I can't remember, I think those are a couple $1,000, so get $1,000 back on it, but I just couldn't believe that one.
$5 over the deductible.
Yeah.
So have you checked the other traffic counts where they're at?
Yeah, we still have the other 3.
But you know where they're attached to, right?
Yes. Poor John felt terrible, and I'm like, dude, I don't know how you, go back through it, how do you avoid that, except, put it on one of our signs or something, I don't know.
And put a tag on it.
Yeah.
Property of.
So anyway, that's all the excitement I got for today.
Okay, thanks, Derek.
You bet. Call if you guys need something. Thank you.
Next item, we have authorized signing employee union contract. That has been approved by the state's attorney's office. I think everything is up to date and agreed on. Move. Moved by Commissioner Weiss, second by Commissioner Gage, to authorize signing the employee union contract. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have the approve and authorize signing of the joint cooperative agreement with NECOG for the 2024. That's a standard contract that we sign each year. Fees are based on, I believe, the population of Brown County, if I'm not mistaken. Move. Second. Moved by Commissioner Lee, second by Commissioner Denner, to approve and authorize the signing of the joint cooperative NECOG. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next on the agenda, we have to discuss the PPE pilot program with Human Resources and Emergency Management. Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, well, we would like to address the commission today to discuss the pilot program to prevent slips and falls. And this program is from the South Dakota Municipal League Workers' Compensation Fund, and they've authorized safety benefits to introduce this pilot program with the goal of reducing the number of slips and falls, injuries resulting in workers' compensation claims. SDML Work Comp Fund data shows that approximately 25% of claims originate from slips and falls, and this pilot is being modeled in part after a successful program conducted by the Iowa Municipalities Workers' Compensation Association. When identifying members to ask to participate in the pilot program, SDML Work Comp Fund and Safety Benefits Inc. use claims information to identify locations with high number and cost of slip and fall claims. They also narrowed it down to member claims data, likelihood of enforcing the program, and geographic locations, to name a few. The focus of the program will be on those employees whose job tasks require them to be outdoors during the winter months. Primarily highway, street department, and law enforcement. Any participating members will receive PPE equipment or footwear for participating employees to reduce slips and falls. Training on preventing slips and falls, and training on the use of the PPE. Should Brown County decide to implement this pilot program, we will have to make a commitment to the program. This commitment entails adopting policy language regarding the requirement for the participating employees to wear the PPE during the designated times, that its use will be enforced, and then if they're not wearing it, disciplinary measures will ensue. Signing a commitment stating that the use of the PPE will be enforced, and having employees sign a document stating that they understand and agree to the terms, and examples of that have been submitted to you. Brown County will also be responsible for monitoring an employee to ensure they are wearing the PPE, and in the event there is an incident and the investigation shows it could have been prevented, if the employee was wearing the PPE provided, Brown County will be responsible for the entire cost of the slip and fall PPE that was provided. So, Scott's going to speak to you on what our recommendations are going to be after we've been doing some research on this.
Good morning. So yeah, we've been, as Allison stated, we've been working on this for at least a month now, a month and a half probably. We've had a couple meetings with the workman's comp folks. We've met with some of our department heads in the sheriff's office and stuff, and the HR department in my office from the safety committee side. When I first saw this program, I'm like, wow, this is going to be a good thing. It really could have some benefits. And kind of the more we dug into it, we had more questions than we had answers, I think, to some of this. Now, as Allison stated, this is, they would supply the footwear as part of the program, but a few of the things that kind of stuck out was the requirements for this program, that these employees must sign documentation and they must follow the policy set forth, which is a requirement that they must wear these for their shift. Now, there's some drawbacks to that, so if an employee doesn't wear these and would have an accident, there's a possibility that the county could be funded those costs, or, you know, pushed those costs to pay for this footwear then, for all of it, not just one pair, for all of it. These are about $30-some a pop, would be the cost on them. There is a chance that the adjuster, I'll call him, could deny the workman's comp claim to that individual, you know, depending on what the investigation found out. We've had some discussion with the sheriff's office if they have to go into somebody's residence or business, and we did damage to some flooring. Who's reliable or who's liable for that? So again, I think there's some positive benefits from this. I'm just not sure that this program is, the way it's worded currently, is right for Brown County. Again, I think there's too many unknowns out there that we could go back and ask again, but we're getting some pushback with the word must and shall wear. You know, if our policy went into effect December 1st, an employee could be required to wear them today, you know, and obviously today wouldn't be beneficial, you know, to that type of stuff. So my recommendation, and along with the HR departments, would be to, if the county would like to do something, we would go out and purchase some of these, and we can get the same style of footwear that they're offering to us for probably half of what that cost would be. I mean, I can get footwear from anywhere from $15 to $18 for pretty much the same thing, just a little different brand and stuff like that. And then we could put them out to our employees that would like them, or try our own period with the sheriff's office and, you know, landfill, or even Dirk's folks that are outside, and do our own little test. So again, my recommendation, our recommendation is that we probably don't sign on to this pilot project. And again, if the commission, and that's up to you, if you think we need to sign on for this and make it happen, you know, we looked at our slips, trips, and falls claims that we have. I think there was very few, if any, that were outside weather related. The claims that we did have were, you know, steps, you know, people slipping on steps or a rug or something like that, versus outside, you know, due to winter weather or ice.
So my understanding, this is only for an outdoor activity type thing?
Yes. They claim that these slip-ons are made for indoors. You know, you could wear them on carpet and stuff like that, but, you know, hardwood floors is still in question, linoleum, things like that. They brought us two, this is only one sample. This sample has, like I call, sandpaper on the bottom. The other ones has little tungsten carbides on them. So, I mean, somebody would scuff their feet across a linoleum floor or a hardwood floor, we're going to have problems.
Yeah, first thing I think of is Velcro. If somebody comes across the wrong carpet, they'll get stuck there.
Where I think if we, like I said, if we did our own thing, I think, you know, if somebody had to go in, or if they know they're going into a residence, they could pop them off and, you know, and move forward.
If it's a pilot program, is there a requirement to what they require for this pilot program to take off? Is it 50% participation, 10%, or is there a number they throw out? Or?
Well, they did provide a list of potential departments, which was, you know, sheriff's office, corrections, highway, landfill, you know, things like that. So that's kind of the direction we went and talked. You know, like I said, we talked to Sheriff Lunsman and Chief Deputy Lemke. We've talked to Mike Scott. I've talked with Dirk. I've talked with Judy in maintenance. You know, and I kind of got the same thing. These guys brought up, you know, the damage to floors. What happens, you know, if they have to go in a residence or in a building to do their job, where, okay, the landfill and stuff like that, you know, wouldn't have that. They were all receptive. Nobody liked the must. You know, okay, so I'm sitting in a truck all day. Do I need to have these on? You know, if it's not snowing, do I need to have these on? Some departments, Mike Scott he's already provided some stuff for some of his employees, you know, when they're outside doing stuff. So,
they have the opportunity and the expectation to use their best discretion for it. That doesn't mean you always have it at the right time, but by the same token, if you make it mandatory, you know, then you wind up, it becomes sometimes more of a nuisance than
Right.
what's necessary.
Well, what happens if a deputy's into a foot pursuit and one of these starts coming off or gets caught on something and they get hurt? You know, that's another question of, okay, who's liable for that? You know? So like I said, there's, I don't wanna say this too loud, but I have some extra funds in my budget that I could probably procure some under the safety committee. And like I said, if we wanted to throw a dozen pairs out there or something, we did have one of the deputies test this last weekend when we did get that little bit of snow, and she was happy with them. She had good comments about them. You know, again, she was concerned, okay, if I wear these inside, if I'm going to do damage. But she said outside, she said that, you know, she would wear them. She felt comfortable in them and things like that. So like I said, I think there's some merit to move forward with something. You know, do we have $20,000 to buy everyone? Probably not. But maybe that's an option that we could look at as the years go by. We, you know, hey, this is a good thing. We'll put on a few more next year, or try to find, you know, some other funds, and maybe Workman's Comp will come out with a different program. I don't know.
Well, in fairness, they're offering this to 3 counties and 3 cities as a pilot program. They're not gonna be offended if they're told, you know, thanks but no thanks.
No.
But it does heighten awareness and, you know, the opportunity for us to do something on a proactive basis without mandating it.
Yep.
And, you know, as you said, you know, we looked at the numbers. I was visiting one of the meetings and I wanted everybody to have a conversation about this. You know, that our particular experience doesn't show, you know, a huge problem, but we've all experienced, especially when it gets nasty out, you know, slipping, getting in and out of a vehicle, things happen quickly. So if there's something that we can do to make the, you know, this equipment available and heighten the awareness and encourage, you know, people to use their best discretion to minimize some of that, but it also doesn't necessarily increase our liability both from an individual employee standpoint or the county if we're not following the program to do that, you know, in an individual case situation. So that's kind of
So that's kind of our thoughts. Like I said, this is, if you think we still would want to go with the pilot program, that would be, Allison's got some policy stuff put together. You know, if we do want to go that route, or if we, you know, want to...
I guess, you know, I'm of the belief that if we were gonna go with the program, we'd probably need a motion, but I don't know if the interest is there, so at this point in time, I think it's for information only.
Okay.
Does that sound fair?
and you could provide them some feedback and move
Yeah.
forward appropriately with the safety committee.
All right, thank you.
Fair enough. Thanks for all the time and effort.
Would the commission be objective if my office would purchase a few pairs of these?
No, I think it'd be a good, you know, you take law enforcement that's out on an icy road, I think it'd be, I agree with you, the Mustang is kind of with the sketchy part. I think people have enough common sense that work for the county that if there's glare ice on the road and they're out stopping somebody for an accident or whatever, that'd be the time you'd want to put them on instead of somebody dictating when you wanted to put them on. So I think that's an excellent idea. I don't think it's mandatory for the whole county, but there are circumstances, I think it's a very probable thing to have.
Okay.
Seems like a good thing to have, you know,
Okay.
a situation like last year, we had that ice storm, but,
Yeah.
Quite a
Okay.
few of our guys purchased their own, or we purchased some last year in the ice storm already. It's a tool for the toolbox. Bring it out when you need it, put it back when you don't need it. That's really what our philosophy is. Our guys, we give them guns, we give them tasers, and tell them, use them on your best judgment. I think a cleat on a shoe should also be one of those things we use at the right time.
And the heightened awareness and the training, you know, just to say, okay, a pound of, you know, prevention.
And I think that's the big thing
Yeah.
is, we're gonna provide some forefront to make you think about it.
And they do provide, you know, the online training, which is, you know, we
Yeah.
have, which is good on a reminder basis, both slips and falls and lifting and all the rest of those kind of things, which are good reminders on an annual basis to say, okay, just remember, if you're doing this, this is the right way to do it.
That's right. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we're on to the consent calendar.
Approval of the general meeting minutes of December 5th.
Move. Second. Moved by Weiss, second by Gage, to approve the general meeting minutes of December 5th.
Huh?
December 5th, right?
Yeah.
I thought you said second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Claims. Are we pulling the one?
Second.
Yeah, minus one.
Minus one. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. HR report.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Drenner, second by Weiss, to approve the HR report. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Landfill tonnage reports for November.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Gage, second by Weiss, to approve the landfill tonnage report for November. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Claim assignment.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Weiss, second by Denner, to approve the claim assignment. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Uncollectible taxes for 21 and 22.
Move. Second. Moved by Weiss, second by Gage, to approve the uncollectible tax for 21 and 22. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Anything else for the consent calendar? Any other business to come before the Brown County Commission this morning? Mr. Perry?
I could give you some information on the retirement laws. We have, last year we gave out $31 million in Brown County, and I think that would be an important thing for Brown County to know about. And that was 1,344 different people got their retirement checks. And if you take money, when you receive it, money multiplies 7 times in a community. So it's about $250 million in impact that it has on our senior population. And I thought you might want to know that. And we have $14.6 billion set aside so that we can continue to make those payments far into the future. We're the only, I think we're the only state at this time that is fully funded.
Good information. Anything else? We've had a request to go into exec for personnel and litigation.
Move. Second.
Moved by Weiss, second by Gage, to go into exec for personnel and litigation. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are in exec. Respond back. We are out of exec with no action taken. Is there anything else to come before the Brown County Commission today?
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Motion by Weiss, second by Denner to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.